Hi and good morning. Time to wake up with an empowerment to the Likutey Tova. And in this lesson, we're going to be talking about actually referring to the bracha that we say in the morning, Malbish Arumim, that we bless Hashem that on our getting dressed, on clothing the naked. And Reb Nosson talks about what it means, this clothing of the naked, how our garments of positivity and goodness get renewed. And when we get dressed in the morning, the way in which we get dressed is going to, or should, if we do it according to the Shulchan Aruch, which is to always start with the right side and put on things with the right side, we're going to empower the right side within ourselves, the side of chesed. That's going to help us connect to our own inherent right side, which will help us find the Likutey Tova. And then we will be empowered to clothe our garments, clothe our soul with the correct garments. Now we know that the soul has garments, and these garments are thought, speech, and action. So when we empower ourselves in the right way to activate the Likutey Tova, to look for the good in ourselves and to look for the good in others, we will be empowered to clothe our soul with the correct garments. But Reb Nosson, in this chapter, the 10th chapter, Dressing the Body and the Soul, he goes even further and gives us an incredible little nakuda. And he tells us that, in fact, when we wake up in the morning, we dress ourselves in garments that can be referred to in garments, beautiful, special garments, garments of pa'er, of glory for the soul. Remember, we spoke in previous classes about et pa'er, that Hashem has nachas from us. He feels there's an aspect of tiferet and of beauty, that nachas that he has in us. So now Reb Nosson says that these garments of beauty refer to the tefillin and the tzitzis. And he's going to tell us that the reason why we can put on tefillin and tzitzis are because our soul has been cleansed. And when has it been cleansed? Our soul has been cleansed during the time that we went up and surrendered our soul into sleep. When did we do this? So when we sleeping, we entrust our soul on high to Hashem. And there's a little Tehillim, Perek 31, verse 6, where it says, "He beyadcha afkid ruchi." Into your hand I've entrusted my spirit. And we surrender our spirit to Hashem when we're sleeping, and he cleanses our spirit that might have been sullied during the night. So in the morning, it's beautiful and clean, and then men do, women don't, but put on tzitzis and tefillin, and in a way, this is the external manifestation of the clothing that we clothe our souls in, that will give it added radiance and added power. But it all starts with clothing ourselves, putting on a garment with the right hand first. So that's today's lesson in a nutshell. But if you want to stay a little longer, you can hear me try to, or attempt, or do my best effort at doing it inside. And as you know, I always request your compassion, because this isn't so, it's not so easy, but I'm going to do my best. So This rousing and refining of the good points is also implicit in the laws of getting dressed each morning. One should initially hold the garment towards his right side and begin dressing. Afterwards, he passes the garment to his left side to clothe himself there. This is in accordance with the principle that one should always empower the right over the left. The underlining idea here is that the fundamental of any beginning depends on beginning with the right, the side of chesed. So let's try to read that inside. V'zeh bechinat levishat begadim shetzarich la'achuz hamalbush b'tzad yamin. So b'tzad yamin, that's the right side. Ula olam yagbir hayamin al hasmo. We always take the garment starting from the right hand. Ki ha'ikar, the essence, talui bechinat yamin. The essence is always going to be to start with the right. Dahainu al yedei shemate kalafei chesed motzei ba'atzmo eze nekudot tuvot. So because we're going to be starting with the right side, we're going to be empowering this aspect of chesed, which is going to enable us to connect to the Nakuda Tova. Okay. And al yedei zeh na'asin levushin lahalbish et nishmato. And in this way, we're going to begin dressing and clothing the soul. Now, what was doing with the soul up until this point? Prior to this revelation of the good point, while he was in a state of spiritual sleep, the soul was, so to speak, naked. Kol zaman shelo nitgala hatov ba'et shehaya bichinat shena. So here there's a beautiful play on words. While the soul was sleeping, while it was naked, while it was sleeping, it was naked. Once we wake it up, we start to dress it in this clothing of chesed, nakuda tova, kindness, etc. So at night, it's sleeping, but it's also naked, so to speak. Prior to the revelation of good points, it's in a state of spiritual sleep, it's naked. And then it says, this is the reason brought in Kabbalistic teachings for the blessing who clothes the naked, that we say in the morning. For as explained previously, by revealing the good points, which are alluded to in the verse, Israel, in you et pa'er, for Hashem takes pride in them, as it were. One creates garments, the concept of raiment, pa'er, garments for the soul. V'zehu bechinat birkat malbish arumim, shemavarachin b'shacharit, b'mova, ki al yedei hanukudot tuvot shenit galin shehem bechinat Yisrael asher bacha et pa'er. So this pasuk, Yisrael asher bacha et pa'er, this pasuk, in you Hashem has pride. In you, Hashem has nachas. It's coming from us clothing ourselves in these garments of chesed, of something that starts with looking for the nakuda, tova. Yisrael, asher b'cha et pa'er, we spoke before, et pa'er is connected to the word tiferet, which is connected to recognizing all your different aspects, all your different colors, seeing the beauty in everyone, which is going to enable you to have this multifaceted beauty and appreciation of beauty. And that's what Hashem has. When he looks at all the different colors of the Bnei Israel, he has this nachas called et pa'er. He's has a lot of nachas. He takes pride. Ki bechem mitpa'er Hashem yitbarach כביכול כנאמר למעלה, על ידי זה נעשים לבושים בחינת בגדי פאר, בגדי כבוד. So you clothed in these beautiful clothings of something shining and radiant and beautiful. These are the garments of the soul, raiments of glory for the soul. And now Reb Nosson is going to talk a little bit more about these garments, which are going to be represented by the tefillin and the tzitzis. These garments of splendor and honor refer to tzitzis and tefillin, which are the soul's clothing, as in this alone is his covering, the garment for his skin. Although the verse refers to a garment taken as security for a loan, which must be returned each evening to its owner, the Zohar teaches that this is also an allusion to tzitzis and tefillin. These spiritual garments are Israel's raiment of pa'er, made from the good points that are refined during the night in the manner described above, as can now be understood in the words of Kabbalistic teaching. Now, what does it mean that these good points are refined at night? So I was a little confused about this, and I looked into the fine print, the little points at the bottom, and this is such a beautiful teaching. In Sha'ar HaKavanot, Drush Birchat HaShachar, the Arizal teaches, on account of a person's sins, his soul loses its garment of holiness and is instead garbed in impurity and, says here, filth. I don't even want to read it, but that's what it was said. At night, this is so incredibly beautiful, a person entrusts his soul with malchus on high. In the mystery of, in your hand, I trust my spirit, beyadcha afkid ruchi, and malchut renews it in the mystery of, they are renewed in the morning, is what it says in Eicha. Anyone whose garment was taken has it returned to him. This is the reason for the blessing who clothes the naked. It was instituted for anyone who at night was stripped of his garment of holiness, but now in the morning has received it back entirely renewed. So the Arizal is actually telling us that at night we, in a way, send our soul off to the dry cleaners, and whatever was soiled and dirty gets cleansed during our sleep because we've surrendered our soul to the Malchus on high. And so in the morning, when we wake up and we make these blessings and we're empowering the Nakuda Tov, and then we say the Brocha Malbish Arumim, that you have helped to clothe my soul with the correct garments, it's referring to this aspect that we've been cleansed so we can now clothe our garments and dress our garments in the right way. And then it ends up, it follows that the soul's primary garments, the clothes of splendor, include all the colors made from the refined good points, which similarly include all the colors as discussed above. That is why when dressing, it's necessary to empower the right side, for all clothing for the soul is derived from the concept of the right, yamin, the chesed, by inclining to the right towards chesed, and so finding the good points, garments are made. Va'al kein sarichin lahagbir beyamin bisha'at lavisha. When we're getting dressed, we got to start with the right. Ki kol ze nimshach bechinat yamin al yedei shemate kalafi chesed shal yedei ze motzei nekudot tuvot v'chule v'al yedei ze na'asin levushin k'ne'ema lamala. So I wish you good luck, that when you get dressed in the morning, you empower the right side by picking up a garment and starting with the right side. Start all activities with the right side. And in this way, you activate the chesed within yourself. And as you're dressing yourself in your garments in the morning, remember that you have been dressed in garments of splendor and beauty. And the reason why you are dressed in these garments of splendor and beauty is that when you were sleeping, you handed and surrendered your soul up to the supernal dry cleaner, who cleansed of any stains and any impurities, and returns that soul to you in the morning. And therefore you can say the brocha, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam malbish harumim, with true kavana, because he truly has clothed the naked you that was sleeping bereft of clothing, but he embraced you. He gave you these beautiful garments. And so you repeat that, getting dressed in the morning. Have an awesome, awesome day, and feel beautiful in your garments of splendor and beauty. And blessings all around. Sei gesund.